to Chop the Greens. I'm your host, Philip Amrine, sitting down a munching Luke Wright.
Hello, everybody.
So today we're coming to you on the season opener, season kickoff of the NFL.
Woo!
Football is back, real football, not preseason stuff that they sell to kids to indoctrinate them to actually become football fans. No, real football, Luke.
I don't think anybody sells preseason football to anybody for any reason.
No, they do. They still sell them. I heard, and I can't confirm this. My sources have not gotten back to me yet. But I heard for the Los Angeles Chargers that they charged $100 for parking.
For preseason?
For preseason.
That just.
I hope at least that they're charging what they're going to be charging regular season. But regardless, as soon as I drive up and I see $100 parking, I'm driving out. That's utterly ridiculous, Luke.
That had to have been more than tickets.
For some of them, well, I don't know, because they're in the small soccer arena this year. So it's a more confined space, so less seats. Theoretically, you can charge more for the same NFL game. I don't know. Maybe not because it's the Chargers. If the same idea happened for the Cowboys for some weird reason, then maybe. However, we are talking. Wow, even as we're talking, the Kansas City game is in the fourth quarter, 12:56. New England's got the ball, 4th and 1. That might be a Bill Belichick to move it up. I don't know. Anyways.
Is Patriots still on top?
No, it's 28-27 with the Chiefs leading by 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we start the season off with that upset?
Well, I mean, to be fair, how big of an upset is that, though? I don't think that's...
9.5 points according to Vegas.
Last I checked, it was 7.5, but it might have been bet up. Yeah, last I saw it because I have a pick'em league, and you have to pick against the spread. We picked at -7 for New England. So it must have been bet up.
Okay, because I know Bovado was doing like 9.5 for like the
crazy.
entire time.
All right. However, anyways, that'll be interesting. I thought I picked the Chiefs. Sorry, this is really important. Actually, I did pick the Chiefs. Good, go Philip. You ever those moments where you're like, go past me, when it's like you find $1 in your pocket or something, or you.
No, past me screws up a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought past you helps you out when you wake up from being drunk. You're like, oh, hey, thank you, past me for that Gatorade.
No. Past me
doesn't care.
Puts more vodka. Makes me think it's water and it's not.
Okay, so earlier in the off season, we did a whole podcast dedicated to the over-unders. Bless you if you actually listen to that whole thing, because I know
you are a saint.
By the end of it, me and Luke were hoarse. We were running ragged. I think we used the word Doug Martin as a verb to Doug Martin at least a couple times incorrectly. We really got overexpended and extended rather. But here we go. We are in the actual season, and what we're going to do is go do a little more concise version of that. We're going to go division by division and give you our playoff teams, whether it be our division winners and if we think a wild card will come out of that division. Past that, we are going to go to our conference champions. Finally, we'll do our Super Bowl predictions. We'll come back to this at the end of the year, and we'll see who's going to go on top here.
Pretty soon we got to go back and remember who our baseball picks were.
Yes, that's coming up soon. We're down to the last 20 games, right?
Yeah, this is the last month. Next week starts playoffs.
Nice. All right, so let's start off with New England giving the ball back to Kansas City with a little less than 12:30 to go. We're going to start with the AFC East. AFC East. Okay. Of course, that's Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, New England Patriots, New York Jets in alphabetical order. Luke, let's have you start off. Who's winning the division wild card, if any?
I think we can both agree and move on from this one pretty quickly. Patriots, no wild card.
Patriots, New York Jets are tanking for next year. Miami Dolphins are intriguing with Jay Cutler, but at most they're competing for a wild card berth.
Yeah.
And New England really owns this division. The only one who's ever given them fits. Each one gives them fits in their own ways. They own the Buffalo Bills. Miami and New York. For some reason, New York seems to have a psychological advantage at times if they're good. That won't be the case this year. Miami, for some reason, can win those late games against New England when they've already won the division, don't care, and are still playing all their players, but they'll take a game off of them. However, in the end, at most they're competing for a wild card. I don't think they make it in. Tannehill injury just leaves a little to be desired for consistency.
I think Cutler's good enough to get them to the wild card. I think the conference as a whole, though, is too stacked.
Yes. Moving along, so we got Patriots coming out of the AFC East. Let's see. Going on to the AFC North, where we've got the Cincinnati Bengals, Cleveland Browns, sleeper team, Pittsburgh Steelers, and Baltimore Ravens. All right, let's we'll start with me this time.
Okay.
I'm gonna go for coming out of it. I'm gonna go with the Steelers. It's not too upset. So far, I'm still picking chalk here, but Pittsburgh Steelers. They did upgrade on defense, albeit not a lot. I don't think that they're going to be a top anything defense. Maybe top 15, maybe, top 16 even. I'm not sure about that one spot. Pittsburgh Steelers, though, the offense is real. Martavis Bryant comes back, which actually, to me, was something they were lacking. For as much as Antonio Brown gets credit for, he does everything at an A level. Martavis Bryant's ability, though, to take the top off of defenses is at an A+, and really helps so that way you are forced to not double team either Antonio Brown or Martavis Bryant without feeling the repercussions of one of the three. Your sights on the AFC North.
I definitely go Pittsburgh to win this division. Cleveland is not a sleeper team for me this year, depending upon what your definition of sleeper team is.
Like they're literally still sleeping.
Oh, okay, then yeah. I mean, I can see them maybe surprising people and winning 4 games. That's their peak. That's the best they're gonna do. Cincy, however, I think might be able to be in competition for a wild card spot.
Okay.
But I think Baltimore with Flacco being out for any amount of time, and just the fact that team overall is just not good.
Now, remind me, he's still not even confirmed for this first week.
I don't believe he is.
He's not confirmed yet, I see. And he hasn't thrown all offseason.
Yeah, so, but even if he was, I still wouldn't really expect him to do much.
Yeah, so that is a dog-eat-dog division. The Cincinnati Bengals is the one that I'd be worried about. However, a lot of their offense, which used to be their bread and butter, has left for greener pastures, and I don't feel like they've sufficiently restocked the shelf there in Cincinnati.
Who all have they lost?
Well, they've lost. I mean, again, this is 2 years ago, but I still feel that they haven't replaced them as Mohamed Sanu and the one who left for the Lions. I can't off the top of my head. I can't really think about it, but it was their other wide receiver that they lost. The Cincinnati Bengals really are starting to feel that. Tyler Eifert being healthy is a factor, a genuine, true tight end, number one. However, they've lost a lot of pieces on the offensive line as well. Joe Mixon still hasn't secured that number one running back spot, which is concerning to me.
Right? It's not concerning. He's a rookie, and they still have. To my knowledge, he's third on the depth chart. Just because
oh wow, Giovanni Bernard and
Gio's even second.
Yeah, I know.
You can't even think of the number one.
Goodness gracious, give me a second. I'm looking up the depth chart right now.
We're going to punch ourselves in the face when we figure it out.
Oh my gosh, Jeremy Hill.
Thank you.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I think
wanted to say Lane, but
they're both so high that I thought it was going to be. I think by the end of the season, Mixon will be number 1 or 2, but it's hard to put a rookie there when you have two bona fide
both
starters.
Both of those are good starters, actually. 2 years ago, they had a problem with deciding between the two who to even start, and it used to be Giovanni Bernard, then it moved to Hill. Now, Hill's kind of secured his place on top of there, but it's still running back by committee design.
And I think you might even see someone get traded. Because you don't need all three.
I think Gio's on a contract here, so he very well might. But yeah, so we'll stick with the Pittsburgh Steelers there for right now. Moving down south, the AFC South, we've got the Tennessee Titans, Indianapolis Colts, Jacksonville Jaguars, and Houston Texans. Now, who do you see in this division, Luke?
This division's actually kind of hard.
This is probably the hardest division.
And it's
in
not
reverse.
it's not because any of these teams are so good.
Right.
It's because all of these teams are so even, with the exception of Jacksonville. But even Jacksonville, they have the talent
on defense.
On defense.
Well, actually, no, that's not fair. They have a great supporting ensemble for offense.
Yeah.
Outside of the quarterback.
And so it's really just a matter of, if Jacksonville just can randomly churn it on, if they can just figure it all out, they have a shot in that division. Because that division, like we just said, it's not particularly strong.
Jacksonville has the opportunity, and has been in the past, a spoiler team where they're not bad enough to be the worst team in the league at any given time, because they keep spending for players and they keep getting these blue chip level talent players that just go down to Jacksonville for the money and tax break, but they show up at times and can beat a team randomly. They can beat a New England Patriots randomly, or just even within their own division, bring down the Colts when they have Andrew Luck. Just enough to where it's a sweaty competition there. But Jacksonville to me is not a true contender because of Blake Bortles, because of that inconsistency at quarterback. I think that they're going to try and find a way to rectify that situation next year via draft or free agency, and just either fire their head coach and get a new quarterback, or just get a new quarterback, whatever it is. This is a rebuilding year for them. They just don't know it yet. Unfortunately, they got Leonard Fournette, which is great for the future, but I feel like they're going to waste him this year, trying to at least claw their way to the playoffs. Tennessee Titans is a tricky team. I could see that either way. Colts going either way. Houston going either way.
I think Tennessee will take it.
Okay.
I like Mariota. I like their running game. I like that they upgraded on wide receiver.
Did they though?
I think they drafted one.
That's where my biggest question mark is. I know that they drafted there. That doesn't guarantee that they upgraded for me. And Tajay Sharp is out for a couple weeks at least with an injury.
But I think overall, they did enough. Their defense again is going to kind of it needs to make improvements. But I think it'll be enough in that division. I think they'll be able to win, and I could also see Houston winning, depending upon how their quarterback situation goes. And I think maybe one of them might be able to sneak in as a wild card.
I'm going to go outside the box here. I'm going to go with the Colts. Their first team that they play is the LA Rams. If ever you were going to get a team to play without your starting quarterback, it would be the LA Rams, who like to win with low-scoring games. So theoretically, you could just win with a Scott Tozil touchdown to T.Y. Hilton.
There's no way Scott Tolzien throws any touchdowns against the Rams. That defense.
Aaron Donald still hasn't reported to camp, right?
No, he hasn't.
So
I still think that
there's a chance Frank Gore might get a little last couple juice out on this first game. But I'm saying when Andrew Luck comes back, he does have an upgraded team from last year. I like a lot of their additions. I don't know that it's enough to.
They have T.Y. Hilton and a 35-year-old running back. That's all they have.
They also upgraded on offensive line a little bit. They've matured. They've gelled a little bit. Granted, I mean we're mixing and matching. Everybody's favorite out of that. It's not the conference. It's the division. Out of that division is the Houston Texans. But to be honest with you, Indianapolis is the one and only place where I like a mix of weapons with the quarterback. Houston has the weapons, just no quarterback. Right now, Deshaun Watson we have yet to see. Tennessee Titans has the quarterback, but not enough weapons for me to comfortably say that they can compete. I'm going to stick with the Indianapolis Colts. I know I'm maybe a year or two behind, but I have no conviction with that pick.
That Colts might be the most talent-poor team in the NFL.
That would be dominated by the Jets.
I would take the Jets front seven over any position from the Colts.
They just traded Sheldon Richardson.
I'd still take the Jets front seven over any skill position of the Colts. Especially
quarterback.
Okay, so there's one. Wait. What?
You said skill position. Quarterback's a skill position.
Yeah, but
okay. So I'm just saying.
You know that one quarterback's one player compared to a front seven is an actual group. And secondly, Andrew Luck gets hurt literally every other game now, so
We'll see. We'll see. I feel like he's been unjustly done by the organization / whoever's putting talent there with giving him 3 bananas and a straw for an offensive line. So we'll see. Okay, now we had and just to be clear, none of because this is true for me, none of the other divisions have a wild card for you. Is that correct?
yeah, there are teams I think might be able to
Compete.
I wouldn't pick them.
We agree with that. I think Houston can compete. I think Miami can compete. That's not where I'm going to put my mansion though.
Cincinnati could compete.
Yes. Okay, here we go. AFC West. This is going to be a tough one because we're both supposedly projecting 3 playoff teams out of this one division, and honestly, I could see you can make a case for any of the 4 to be in the playoffs for me.
3 of the 4.
Oh, then we probably have different decisions here. Okay, so go ahead there. Who's your division winner?
To me, AFC West
Is won by?
Is the most stacked division in the entire league.
Yes.
1 through 4, I would take AFC West as the toughest division in the entire league.
It's been that way for a while. Well, it was between them and the NFC West for a little bit, and then it turned over to the AFC West dominantly.
It was AFC West, NFC West, then it was AFC West, NFC East, and now it's just AFC West.
Correct.
I think when it's all said and done, Oakland will win the division.
Okay.
I also think the wild cards will be Kansas City, who will literally be like 1 game away from Oakland. Pretty much just like last year.
Okay.
And Denver will sneak in. People are sleeping on Denver because of their quarterback situation, but...
You know what I don't hate? I don't hate the Brock Osweiler addition.
I don't. He played good in Denver.
He played good in Denver. It's a year contract. He knows well, actually he doesn't, but he's familiar. He can get back into a comfort zone. Even if he just is average, that's more than above what you're paying him for.
He's just there to be the backup.
Yeah.
He's just there to back up.
And I don't mind that. Now, Luke, I bleed with you. Orange, blue, and white.
That defense
is tenacious.
That defense is going to carry
Their defense
us.
is still great. So this division holds something in my heart for me, all right? But the winner of the AFC West this year will be the Chiefs, in my eyes.
I can see that.
I've got the Oakland Raiders, just again, flipped from you, just the Oakland Raiders, a game behind. That defense, the secondary especially, scares me, and I feel like they're going to be in a lot of shootouts, and I don't know that they can slow the ball down with Marshawn Lynch. I just don't know that yet. It's a wild card for me, so therefore I'll put them in the wild card. And then to take off that last playoff spot, they're not going to be injured this year. Everything's going to click. I think the Los Angeles Chargers will take that final playoff spot with Denver right behind them. That quarterback situation is much maligned. I don't trust any quarterback in there, and it used to be an Elway I trust, and I liked the Paxton Lynch pick when it first happened. Now that he's injured, now that he hasn't even taken the job off of Simeon, Simeon was just the definition of C to C minus last year. He had a couple games where he was a B plus, like in the Chiefs game where they went to overtime.
See, I think he can be better this year. I think everyone assumes that Trevor Siemian, who I think is a third-year player, has already peaked. He's a third-year player. This is his second team in those 3 years. This is his third different offense in 3 years.
Yeah.
So, Simeon will get better. He showed the flashes. He's thrown the games that he needs to throw. Good. I guess throw is a bad word to use with the quarterbacks. But to me, he's proven that he has the potential. Same with Paxton Lynch. It's been 1 year. Oh no. A rookie quarterback last year who didn't get that many snaps didn't perform very well? Shocker. So I think people overestimate how bad the quarterback play in Denver is. Because don't get me wrong, it's not great, but it's not awful. It's not terrible. It is not the worst in the league.
My problem with that team is, to me, the funds are misappropriated. If you have a question mark at quarterback, I would much prefer that most of your offensive money doesn't go to your starting wideouts. I'd rather have it go to your tight end and more so your running backs to pay for the value. Right now, I don't believe in Denver's running backs. I never believed in C.J. Anderson. For me, I very much believe his stats are misleading, and whenever I see him play, to me, he doesn't make that much of an impact. He's very meh. He's below what Michael Turner used to be for the Falcons.
He's always hurt, though.
That's my problem too.
To me, that's the bigger problem.
I like the upside of Jamal Charles, but he's not even right now in the rotation of the top two. I believe he's the third running back.
No, he's got
backup.
He's got to be starter or backup.
Well, he's backup. C.J. Anderson is starter.
Then he's got to be the backup. And even
Devontae Booker's still there. He might be the running back. Anyway, backup. But that's just to say, I don't think that they have a offensive personnel that is going to benefit a maligning quarterback. That would even be nurturing for a maligning quarterback. And their offensive line has never been stellar. It was just Peyton Manning with his quick throws and knowing where to get the ball off quickly, cloaking that. Now it's come up. As much as I like their defense, it's slowly chipping away. They're trying to they've replaced DeMarcus Ware with Shane Ray. They just now got rid of T.J. Ward, going for a younger option. I don't hate those moves, but it's still it shows that you're aging. Aqib Talib, how much longer can he be an elite cornerback? He keeps getting into these incidents off the field. We'll see. I love my Denver Broncos. Don't get me wrong, but making the case for Los Angeles Chargers, for one, they have the best named quarterback in the league.
It's not accurate.
That totally inflates the value of Phillip Rivers. Beyond that, though, he has just been on fire in the preseason. As little as I take into account the preseason.
Ooh, preseason Phillip Rivers.
Look at that, though. But honestly, you look at last year, even Dak Prescott impressed in preseason. So there is something. It's not to say that it's the be-all, end-all, but if you can be way above average, which Phillip Rivers and the entire offensive starting unit was in preseason, I got to give it some credence that at least they have the chemistry already down.
I don't think you have to give it any credence because it's preseason.
The point is, though, is that they have a lot of pass rushers, and I like their defense. I like their offense. The problem that has prevailed them and has kept them from moving forward and actually making them a force rather than just a challenge in the AFC West each and every year, to where they're a scary team to see on the schedule. What's going to make them winners this year is the lack of injuries. Every year, they are just utterly beleaguered by injury after season-ending injury. And
why would that suddenly change now?
I have faith.
That's why I always think it's funny. Everyone likes to say, well, they won't be plagued by injuries this year. They've been plagued by injuries the past 4 years. What makes this year any different?
But Luke, the difference is that they won't have an entire starting unit in defense and offense not be injured. That was an irrational amount of injuries.
How do you know?
I'm just saying that.
Are you magic?
It'll bend more towards the norm and average, rather than, again, everybody gets injured outside of Phillip Rivers. That's what it felt like. So, again, I don't feel like I'm completely out of line. Either way, we both say that 3 playoff teams will come out of the AFC West. Who knows? Maybe they'll eat each other alive to where somebody sneaks out and a Houston barrels through. That's kind of like my next out, next in.
Yeah.
So, Chargers and the Raiders. Okay, moving on to the NFC. The NFC, let's start off in reverse. The NFC West. We've got the LA Rams, Arizona Cardinals, San Francisco 49ers, and Seattle Seahawks. Any debate here with Seattle, Luke?
As of right now, no. I think Arizona is not as much of a long shot as some people have seemingly said that they have been. However, I wouldn't expect them to compete unless something bad happens for the Seahawks.
Until they get a new quarterback or something. It's not that Carson Palmer's bad. He's just not great enough to sustain the defenses that are still remaining lurking in the NFC West.
I actually think the biggest problem with the Cardinals right now might be coaching.
Really?
Yeah. Everyone loves to, and I'm not saying Bruce Arians is necessarily a bad coach. Because,
maybe the message has been dulled?
I think you can only have that kind of personality as a head coach for a certain amount of time.
Jim Harbaugh effect?
Exactly like Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh's great at college because his personality and his coaching style lends well when you only have to see the players for a couple years.
3-4 years max.
When you but as soon as you start hitting 4, 5, 6, it starts, and people kind of like, and yeah, it's great for fans and the media.
That's immediately what I thought when I read that story where they played a preseason game or practice. Right at the top of my head, I can't think of it, but they played it poorly according to Arians, and he was quoted, "You play like bleep, I'll treat you like bleep," and apparently they did suicides for the rest of practice, or no, it must have been practice then, and that's stuff I can't imagine that players to that level have faced since high school, maybe early college.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with grown men, it's just a different mentality.
And you saw it, during the season. It was the worst special teams in the league, and he refused to make a coaching change. And instead of taking responsibility for himself or giving responsibility to the coach of special teams, he just blamed the players. Well, it's the players' fault. They weren't playing. They weren't doing what I was coaching them to do. Well, if they're not doing what you're coaching them to do, then maybe you need to start finding new players to coach.
New players.
You got to
something.
You can't just say, "Well, they're not doing what I tell them." That's not how NFL level coaching works. So I think that while Bruce is a good coach, I think his time has come. And I don't think he's the kind of coach who can stick around for 5, 6, 7 years.
It's hard. He may have lost the connection with the players, and that's hard when you have the talent, and it's because of him that you've legitimized as a franchise. So we'll see. So you're saying Seattle. Any other teams coming out of there? Wild card?
I think Arizona might. No. Arizona will compete. I'm not willing to give them the spot, though.
Okay. So we're both sticking with just the lone Seattle. Next, we're going to NFC South. Atlanta Falcons, defending Super Bowl losers. New Orleans Saints, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and finally Carolina Panthers. Luke, who's coming out of the dirty, dirty South?
Well, that was weird, but dirty South.
I offended you with that.
I'm not really sure. Like, this is one of those conference. So the NFC South and the AFC South are the same.
The NFC South, I forget the stat exactly, but it's like the last 4 to 5 years that has never had a repeat division champion.
I'm not surprised. And I don't think Atlanta won last year. I don't necessarily think that they'll win this year.
I don't have them winning. If we go to me, I'm predicting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to come out of there as the division champions.
I think I'll agree with you.
Yeah, I love the young talent. I feel like this is a career year for Jameis. He's going to have a breakthrough season. And they've upgraded on offense. Defense is stout. Even if it's middling, that's still a playoff team for me. They at least have a presence on defense. Atlanta, I just didn't buy last year, and I didn't buy. I'm not buying now. I know that may be stubborn, but I'm going to attribute more of that to Kyle Shanahan than Matt Ryan, who's been average, I feel, for his whole career.
No, Matt Ryan's been above average.
Well,
for most of his career, he's definitely been above average.
Okay, so he's like above average, but
I'd say top 10 quarterback, but
top 15, but we'll still argue
top 10, but definitely the 10 to 5 range, not the 5 to 1 range.
No, right. New Orleans is pure just offense.
They've been trying to improve their defense this last couple off seasons, but it just hasn't.
No avail.
Yeah, they don't really. What does New Orleans spend their money on?
Jarius Byrd and just random extensions that just do not help.
It just does, it's not like every offseason you can point to one big signing.
Jarius Byrd was about the last one.
Yeah.
I can't think of of the other one.
And not even like just in general, like Adrian Peterson they got for kind of cheap, but like I just don't know what they spend their money.
And even then, it doesn't. It's a move that makes little to no sense.
Yeah.
It's the whole mentality of the New Orleans Saints. I don't think they have an identity.
I think they're literally just there to sell tickets. I think that's all they care about is, hey, let's put Breeze out there and then sell tickets.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and you may not know even, but is Breeze on a contract year this year?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think he's on the second to last year.
Second to last year. Okay. So do you see the Atlanta Falcons as a wild card or Carolina Panthers?
I would say I think Atlanta will be a wild card.
Okay.
Carolina, I just
You don't believe in the McCaffrey blue gem?
No, I actually do believe in McCaffrey, but that's really all I believe in there.
Okay.
I don't know if Cam Newton will necessarily be able to maintain the same sort of play that he had last year, or 2 years ago.
2 years ago now.
And he's an injury. I feel like he could get injured and miss an entire season at any point. And then that defense I did not see. I don't know what that defense is going to be. Will it be 2 years ago or will it be last year? I don't see. I refuse to believe that losing Josh Norman
had that much of
an impact, but I don't know if necessarily they'll ever be back to the same as 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago they were incredible.
So I think they'll kind of average out, but it's not going to be enough to carry that team. Like I think that team will probably need to be carried. Jonathan Stewart has always been a good running back, but he's never been a great running back, and he also has dealt with a lot of health issues. So I don't see that team really. I think they'll be better than they were last year, but not by much.
All right. NFC North. You want to do 3, 2, 1? Here we go.
Sure.
3, 2, 1. Packers.
Yeah.
Excellent job on the 3, 2, 1. Yeah, and then making me wait for it. All right. Packers. We'll get more to them in the playoffs. I mean, that's whatever. But Detroit Lions, maybe or Minnesota Vikings, potential wild card.
I wouldn't give them a spot, but yeah, I could see that Minnesota defense. I've always liked Sam Bradford. I definitely, obviously he never lived up to the number 1 overall pick hype, but I think he is a solid starter, a solid, middle. He's like that kind of like level, like Andy Dalton level of quarterback, where it's like, if you have him, you don't necessarily need to improve, but at the same time, like you're not going to get much worse. So I think that he can carry that team enough to a wild card spot.
So you're predicting the?
No. I think
you're just saying they'll be in contention.
They'll be in contention.
What were they last year? 10-6, something like that.
I think they were. No, I don't think they were 10-6. I think they ended up being like 9-7.
Okay. Detroit Lions.
Exact same thing, except they're
Matthew Stafford.
Flip it. Their offense will have to carry that defense.
And even then, that offense is
probably
Matt Stafford.
And the fact that you just gave Stafford that much money is ridiculous.
Oh, you think so?
Stafford isn't even a top 5 quarterback. Why would you give him the most money anyone's ever given any NFL player ever?
Interesting. We'll have to debate that one. That was what we were going to talk about, but we didn't get a chance to. So we'll talk about that later. And Chicago Bears, they are in the running for number 1 overall pick.
Probably. There's just not a lot of talent on that team.
Jordan Howard and
Trubisky might be.
Maybe. I think they're going to let Glennon.
I think Glennon's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But I doubt he'll make it through the year.
Glennon be a punching bag for like maybe the first 8 games. I don't think he'll last much longer than that, if that. But that's about it. Okay, so just the Packers as the division winner for you.
Yeah.
Okay. NFC East. Who do you got winning? This one is much like the AFC West, just a little token less hard as a division.
I'd say Dallas
is winning.
Is probably going to win.
Wow.
Washington's out. Can we both agree with that?
We can both say that
they lost way too much talent. Kirk Cousins doesn't have anybody.
And I don't even understand what they're doing from top to bottom. They let go of their GM who found all that talent.
Yeah, just overall, that whole organization is just a giant mess. And Kirk Cousins, I don't care how much they try to give me. If I'm Kirk Cousins, I walk.
Well, theoretically, they could franchise tag him again, and I think he's happy with that too. But
Yeah,
I see your point.
but yeah, if they ever try to, at this point, I'm like, dude, you either franchise me or I walk. Those are literally your options. And you've already spent way too much money in him on franchise tags.
It's funny that had they done the deal at any point earlier in either of the previous 2 seasons, they would have avoided what he's now going to demand.
Yeah,
and
they just. Again, every single thing about the Redskins organization is a mess.
Yep.
They might be the worst team management-wise in the whole league.
The Jets are right up there, man.
And Jets, I think, are just bad. Whereas the Redskins, I think, are a legitimate mess.
I don't know. The Jets are right up there. I gotta go with the Jets. The Jaguars, I think, are just in some senses of the word, they want to be good, and they're just unlucky in a lot of cases. They try to do the right thing, but yeah, the Redskins are just they can't win in spite of themselves. All right, so that leaves. So you're saying the division winner is going to be the Cowboys?
Yeah,
so
I think
wild card will be.
I will give it to Giants and Philly.
Okay, yeah.
In that order, Giants 1, Philly 2,
Okay.
and even Philly, I'm only giving it to them because we're at the end here. I think that second wild card spot will be
A horrendous uphill battle
throw a dart
between Falcons, Vikings, Eagles.
I could see
Panthers even.
Eagles, Lions, Vikings, Panthers, Falcons, even Saints if that offense is good enough, and then Cardinals.
Be surprised. There's only really 1, 2, 3. Even then, I could kind of see the Redskins actually overcoming themselves and getting into the playoffs.
No.
So there's
Redskins, Bears, and Rams are the only 3 teams that I would say have literally no shot at making the playoffs. Every single other person...
49ers.
Sorry, and Niners. Yes. Other than those 4 teams, every single other team I think has a shot at making that second wild card spot. So...
Again, we're going to have to agree, which is interesting when we both have 3 teams coming into the playoffs out of one division for both sides. You wouldn't think that would happen. But I'm going to go, division winners will be the Giants for the NFC East.
And to me, it's the same case AFC West. I have them both so close. It's really going to depend on
just how the season
sophomore slumps and how Elliott suspension plays out.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will be a suspension. It's just a matter of what games will he end up suspended for.
Right. For me though, unlike you, the Philadelphia Eagles I think are guaranteed in, and then it's the Dallas Cowboys who might not make it.
Oh no!
Because for me, that Elliott suspension is a death knell because their defense is just horrendous. Outside of their middle linebacker, Jalen Smith, coming back, even then that's not an addition, but out of him coming back, they haven't really done anything to add to the defense, and they lost 2 of their premier corners of Claiborne and I'm losing track of the other one. But they lost a lot of pieces to their already fledgling defense, and that defense could not have that happen to them. I mean,
that defense was middle of the road.
But to me, it was it was a facade by the offense carrying them and limiting the other team's offense on the field.
But I think that they'll be able to still, again,
without Ezekiel Elliott, I think Alfred Morris and Darren McFadden. Darren McFadden is an injury-prone running back, first of all.
Oh, absolutely.
But
I don't trust the Giants to stay healthy enough.
See, I have that entirety of I don't care if they're injured or not. The defense of the Dallas Cowboys is injury prone anyways, but I don't trust that defense fully healthy to hold anybody. And I don't know that Dak Prescott can now play keep away with somebody who can't block as well as Ezekiel Elliott and can't run as good as Ezekiel Elliott and can't catch even most importantly as good. Darren McFadden has the speed of Ezekiel Elliott but cannot block nor run as well as Zeke. And then Alfred Morris can't catch, nor can he block as well as Zeke. So the fact that you're limiting yourself, Zeke is such an important factor to that offense that even though I actually do believe in Dak,
Are you assuming they're going to lose every single game without Zeke?
I think that a lot of those, they have a much harder schedule this year than a last place schedule as they had last year.
I still think that they can win at least 2 of those games.
I just don't have any faith in the Cowboys to overcome, for them, what was Ezekiel Elliott, a defensive almost piece.
Okay, they play the Rams.
They play the Giants.
Giants
is a coin toss, essentially.
No, I think they'll lose. Giants always beat them.
I like the Giants too, but I would just
Broncos, they'll probably lose. Cardinals,
that's a coin toss.
I'd say it's a coin toss.
Cardinals, that's a coin toss. Rams is their one that I think that they can, like, where you can notch a win.
But again, we don't, because they've already said he is eligible to play the first game because of all the legal proceedings going on. So then
they're not getting him until 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're not getting him back till the Chiefs.
No, but he's playing. What are you not understanding? He's playing game 1.
No, I understand that.
So they're getting him back, and then they lose him.
Okay.
So if they get him, I'm saying that they have a better shot at winning some of these games depending upon when he leaves. So let's say, for example, so if he doesn't come back until the Chiefs, I think they could easily beat the Niners without him.
With or without him, okay.
So I'm saying that depending the Redskins, they can win without him. So I'm saying it depends on what if they go. I think, let's say he ends up playing the first 2 games and then misses 6. I could see them going 3-3 in that.
No, it's definite that he's playing the first game, and then after that, his suspension is
for sure.
Yes.
Okay, so then I think that they can go. I think they can get 2, maybe 3 wins.
Rams, 49ers, Redskins.
Yeah.
So 3 out of the first 7 games they're winning, and yet
I could see them winning 4 out of the first 7.
Either way, though, that's middling of the road. In that division, that's going to be awful. And that's even with the Redskins. That division plays each other incredibly crazy. The Giants, when they're no good, they can still upset the Redskins, who are the division.
But the Giants are also always inconsistent. As a team, that is like their hallmark.
They're the NFC Steelers. They play down to their competition every single time. They'll play to the level of their competition.
I still think that they will have a shot to win the division.
After being 3-4,
I think
best. 4-3 is their best. You'd agree to that?
Yes.
But say that it's more standard and it's 3-4. You still think that they have a chance to win their division?
Because I could. Let's see here.
You're gonna check out the Giants?
Yeah, because Giants are I'd say their biggest.
They're their biggest division rival. Yeah, I don't be wrong. I think that the Eagles are next in line.
Because I could see the Giants only winning 1 game in their first.
What?
Maybe
the Lions,
maybe
that's
2.
A win.
Cowboys, I could see them losing.
According to you, would be a win. Seahawks is a tough game. Rams, 49ers, Redskins.
I could see them losing to everyone except for Lions. And even Lions, depending upon how Stafford and offense does this year, I could see that happening too. I can legitimately see them not winning a game until they play the Rams. I don't necessarily think that will happen because you know after a certain amount of losses, your mindset changes and whatnot. So I think they will win games before that, but I could see them not winning a game until either the Chargers or the Rams. And then that puts them basically right on path with...
Oh, this just solidified my faith in the Giants.
What?
I just read this. Eli Manning plans to wear a glove on his left hand this season in hopes of reducing turnovers. It's set in stone. It's fate. Luke Wright. I feel good.
No. But yeah, so I think people overestimate the Giants because the Giants are literally the poster child for playing inconsistently, getting hot at the end of the year, making the wild card, and then beating the Patriots. Boom, right there. Write it down. That's my Super Bowl prediction.
Oh, so you just...
I'm just gonna call my shot right now.
Okay, so the rest of the segment that we had planned is gone.
No, we can still go through it.
Okay, we can go through the motions.
Yeah, that's just my Super Bowl pick.
Right. So
we can still.
Our next segment was conference champions, and then
We can still go over who I think will be the will be in the
Oh,
championship.
fantastic.
And you're still part of this, Phil.
Yeah, oh, yes.
You can still have your say.
We call that a tease in the industry. So wild card, I've got Eagles, and then.
So do we have the same people, just different spots?
South, you said Bucks. North, you said Packs. East, you said Giants. No, well, just different spots.
Yeah,
Seattle.
different spots.
The only one that we really deter away from is the South, where I have the Colts, and in the.
Oh yeah, you don't understand how bad the Colts are without luck.
Without luck, but they're still probably going to beat the Rams.
No.
Who knows?
You know, Rams are
Yes.
the favorite, right?
Well, they're at home. I mean,
They're the
if you're
favorite.
at home, you get a favor. You are by definition a favorite unless you're that bad, unless you're Cleveland, really. Okay.
No, there are quite a few. Just because you're home does not mean you're the favorite.
You are given 3 points just for home field advantage.
If it's even.
If it's even.
But
And then
that
it
doesn't
goes from
mean
there.
that
That's where the
doesn't
starting
mean, yeah.
point is. So I'm fine. Okay. Anyhow. Okay, so who's going to be in the? Who's going to be in the AFC?
We want to start AFC Championship? I'm probably going to say. It's hard because I didn't really think about seeding, but I'll just go. I'll go Pats and Raiders.
Okay. I'm gonna go and who?
You know what? No, I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna go Pats and. Did the Chiefs win yet tonight?
I was just about to look. Whoa! Yes, the Chiefs won. You want to guess the score?
42-27.
Right on the nose. Whoa!
With that reaction, I knew it had to be
It had to
big, and I know that they were still on pace for even touchdowns. So.
And Patriots wide receiver Danny Amendola has a head injury.
Shocker! I'm gonna give my friend shit.
Wow. Kareem Hunt did pretty well. I'm just looking at all this stuff. That's crazy.
So I'm gonna go Patriots Chiefs as my AFC championship.
Okay, I don't hate that. And it will be played in.
New England.
Okay.
I still think they get the number 1 seed.
Okay. Interesting way though to start out the season for the Pats. I honestly took the points with the Chiefs, expecting the Patriots to win, but good for the Chiefs. Good win for the Chiefs, actually. Okay. For me, I'm gonna go the Patriots. And you know what? I'm gonna go Steelers.
That was I could have seen Raiders, Steelers, or Chiefs.
Yeah. But where I'm gonna shake it up now, and maybe I'm just going off the Patriots high, I'm gonna go with the Steelers in a home field advantage. They have a lot of home games this year, and a lot of home games early, and a lot of their.
You do know everyone has the same amount of home games, right?
Yeah. So that first point was new. But what I was alluding to was that there were a lot of home games early, which in Heinz Field is beautiful for a high octane offense. Beyond that, they have a lot of dome team away games, which again benefits their offense. I really like the Steelers. I'm going to say that they take one off of Brady and make it all the way to the Super Bowl. Moving to the NFC.
I'm gonna go now since I have to. I actually had a different championship in mind, but since I already went with my Giants Patriots pick, I'm gonna have to go Packers Giants. With obviously Giants winning, but Packers with home field.
Packers with home field. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question. I need your professional opinion in Give Me Five, or for fantasy. I have Aaron Rodgers versus Seattle. I have Aaron Rodgers.
Who's your backup?
My backup is Matthew Stafford at Arizona.
But no, it's in Detroit. It's against Arizona.
It's against Arizona. I'm sorry. Yes, you're correct.
Is it in Seattle or in Green Bay?
It's in Green Bay.
I'd go Rodgers.
Still?
Yeah.
That one to me is scary because
No, I don't think
I'd be wrong either way.
you're going up against two good defenses.
Yeah.
And I'd rather take the
potential of Aaron Rodgers
Yeah.
shocking. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's where I'm leaning to, but it's making me queasy. All right. Anyways, so you got Packers, Giants, with Giants taking it. You know what? I'm gonna put. Gosh, I really want to. I want to be edgy, but I gotta put Seattle.
I was gonna do Seattle Packers.
Gosh, I want to be edgy. I don't know how much I like the Bucks. I just don't know if I like their defense. Oh boy, I'm gonna go Giants. I'm sorry. Seattle.
Do it. Do it.
I'll go Eagles. I'll take an
What?
outside. I know. No, hear me out.
You're gonna go outside but not pick the Bucks?
Yeah, I just
Bad.
don't like their defense. I like the Eagles.
Wrong.
Wrong, loser. All right, but I am gonna go the Eagles. I like their defense.
You're the only one.
And I like their additions to the offense outside of their run game, which is entirely non-existent.
They got LeGarrette Blunt.
LeGarrette Dunn is what they've got. God, okay, I'm changing my pick already.
Yeah.
I can't stick there.
You realize.
I really can't do it. I'm gonna go Packers, Seattle Packers, and since it's gonna be in Seattle, I gotta go Seattle. They'll avenge the onside kick failure of, what was that now, 2 years ago, where they lost the onside kick to, I don't remember. Anyways,
Sure.
You don't remember that? That was like an insane game where Aaron Rodgers and the Packers had the lead, and Seattle won to go to the Super Bowl against the Patriots, and the Patriots beat that team.
You gotta remember, Philip.
Yeah.
The last 3 years I've worked at sports bars and pizza delivery. We get kind of busy on Sundays, so I don't get to watch the games.
That's awful.
It has been awful. This will be the first full NFL season that I will actually get to watch games in 4 years.
God bless you.
Yeah.
All right, I'm still going to go. I'm going to go Seattle. So I've got Seattle and Steelers in the Super Bowl, and you said who's going to win yours in Giants, Patriots?
Giants. 3 for 3, Eli.
Care to throw out a score there?
28-3.
Ooh, a blowout.
No.
Okay.
I was just making the joke. I think it'll. Oh my God. If the Patriots were to lose after being up 28-3 to the Giants, and David Tyree comes out of retirement for one game. But no, I think that Giants will win 35-28.
Yeah, it's an offensive game at that point. As good as the Giants' defense will probably be, it's going to be an offensive game for them to win. Man, Steelers, Seattle. It's like offense versus defense.
Well, we know what happens. When's the last time defense lost?
That's true. I can't. Where's the game in though? Isn't it in Chicago?
No, it's in. I think this is the one in Minneapolis. Chicago doesn't have one. Chicago's
they got
not
the draft. That's right.
I would say Chicago's not going to have a Super Bowl for a long time.
Are you sure?
Positive.
I thought that they were up for debate.
How much you want to bet?
How long's a long time?
It's not for the next 7 years.
Interesting. I'll have to think about that one.
Well, they've already got like the next 4 mapped out. And
Yeah,
Chicago's not for any of them.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go.
Chicago will never get a Super Bowl.
I guess I'm going with Seahawks. I've got to go with Seahawks. Defense just wins championships, and at that point, I'll have trusted Seattle's raging defense and run game, which should have gelled by then, against Steelers, and I don't know that defense can gel together, even with the nice addition of Joe Hayden. That's about it.
Addition.
To be fair, any addition to that secondary was a nice addition. So yeah, that's our football forecast. Not as rough and ragged as the original over-unders was, but pretty darn close. But are you ready, good sir, to go directly
Am I ready?
into Give Me 5?
Yeah.
Red Ribbon Realty Group at HomeSmart is a full-service real estate team of Phoenix natives with over 15 years of experience in the industry. When you work with them, you have 2 full-time realtors representing your best interests throughout your entire transaction, whether you are selling, buying, or renting. They also believe in supporting their community. Use code word chopped greens and Red Ribbon Realty Group will donate 15% of their net commission from your transaction to the nonprofit charity of your choice. choice. Visit their website at www.redribbongroup.com and find them on Facebook. You can also email them at info@redribbongroup.com or call them at 602-888-6638. Red Ribbon Realty Group. Trust, commitment, home.
I have so many good Give Me 5 questions, Luke, that I don't think you can handle this.
I think that you will have no more than 5 Give Me 5 questions.
We'll just have to see. This is Give Me 5, though, Luke. The part of the show where I've got 5 questions for you, you've got 5 questions for me. We don't know what they are, but we will answer them honestly. Luke, would you care to go first or second?
I will go second.
Fantastic. Luke, me and the girlfriend went to the One Republic concert at Action Pavilion
Oh, I'm sorry.
last week.
I'm sorry, what'd you call it? The what pavilion?
Action Pavilion?
Auction?
Earlier last week. Now, we had only gone for an earlier artist, Fits in the Tantrums, not the headliner, One Republic. But by the end, it was easily both of our favorite concert either one of us had seen. I know, I was.
Have you only been to like 2 concerts?
Personally, I've only been to like 3.
Oh, okay, so it's a bar set.
1, 2, 3. I think I've been to like 3, 4. No, but seriously, it was actually very impressive.
The One Republic one?
One Republic was. We were going to leave after Fits in the Tantrums, and we decided to just stay. That guy is oozing talent. Like I'm very rarely shocked, but he performed a couple songs for one that I didn't know he even joined on. But they were it was visually aesthetic. He performed like Halo by himself, a guy, and it was totally viable. He performed Happy, both of which he co-wrote.
Happy is a terrible song.
Or not Happy, I'm sorry, Happier by Ed Sheeran.
You are screwing up all the pronunciations.
I'm part, I don't know. But anyways.
Part bad at
and then you
pronunciation.
forget how many actual One Republic songs you like, or how many hits they've at least had.
Like 5?
A little bit more than that, actually.
Maybe 6.
Yeah, but anyways, what concerts have you been to, and which one was your favorite? Just in summary, like maybe top 3.
I've been to a Halsey concert, Cage the Elephant, Manchester Orchestra, Nickelback.
Nickelback, they're coming soon.
Are they?
Yeah, they're coming back.
Nice. I went to go see a Panic/Weezer concert. So I've been to a few of them.
Your favorite?
I'd say my favorite would probably be either the Weezer/Panic one or the Halsey one. Those are probably one of those two. It's kind of hard. Like, I like the Halsey one better in terms of, like, I was a huge fan of Halsey, but it was literally just her. Because, like, her opener got, like, sick, so she didn't have an opener. And even though, like, I loved her, I love her music and everything, I knew all the songs. And when I went to Weezer and Panic, everyone obviously knows Weezer and Panic at the Disco. But I didn't really realize how few songs I knew from Panic and how many I knew from Weezer. So, like, a lot of that concert was just me realizing, oh, I actually really like both of these people.
That is the funny thing, is you're sitting there and you're almost forced to listen to all these songs. Not only does it open up your ears to be like, you know what, I don't hate that song as much as I did when I was just listening to it for 5 seconds on the album, and I actually kind of want to download this now.
Yeah.
And how many songs you just remember?
Yeah. Weezer, I thought I only knew like 2 or 3 songs, and it turns out I know like half an album.
That's crazy.
So.
Alright, your turn, Sean.
So today, Thursday, was the opening kickoff of football. And I think it's so funny how much football has dominated just all of America for the past 50 years. You know, football is one of the few sports that has its own day. It's literally, you go to church, you watch football. That's it. That is your Sunday for literally tens of millions of people in America.
Yes.
So
It's even got if you're just talking football, it's also some people's Saturday night.
I mean, yeah,
Not
like
just in football.
for college,
Yeah, for college.
all of Saturday, really,
Yeah.
depending upon how into it you are.
Yep.
You can also watch it Monday or Thursday. Sometimes there's even college games Friday. But yeah, so The question I have is, what would we do without football?
The answer is we die. No, but seriously, I think what football is the evolutionized version of what the Romans had in gladiator sports. It's just the modern day, the acceptable amount of public display of violence. It's an acceptable amount, just as how, in the 50s, couples on TV weren't allowed to even be sitting in the same bed as each other, and then in the 60s they were allowed to sit. In the 70s they were allowed to kiss. By the 80s they were allowed to have an elongated kiss. I mean, it just evolves.
Yeah.
This is going in reverse. It's the most barbaric version of outside of fighting, just genuine fighting, boxing, MMA. This is the most barbaric version of gladiatorial sports that we can find that also involves skill. And it's the mix of artistry with barbarism that I think is just it's such a unique blend that really, when I look at other sports and try to improve them from what they are, I just get a worse version of football. I'm trying to make them more like football, and then they end up being worse versions of football. So it's what would we do without it? We would probably still be in some coliseum egging on a lion versus Conor McGregor.
Okay. I'd take Conor McGregor plus 500.
Then we have to get at least 1,000. Luke, since last we talked, T-Swizzle or Taylor Swift has released a new album. On it, she has an array of songs.
Wait, is the whole album out? I don't think the album's out.
Oh,
I think it's just the song.
Just the two?
Is there two now?
No, she has two. I could have sworn she released the album.
I only know of one. Maybe.
I know that there's two.
Okay.
But as far as the quality of them, they are not the least bit appealing to the ears. They just sound awful. And this is coming from somebody who had to admit to enjoying quite a bit of her musical library prior to this new outing. Luke, can you give me your top 3 overrated artists who are alive now?
First of all, no, the album is not dropped. So 3 most overrated artists. Ooh.
Which can include bands.
Yeah. That's a hard one for me. Because there's just so many.
So many overrated.
I mean, like, overrated, yeah. Like, I'll be honest, the Beatles.
Oh, God bless
Beatles
you.
are incredibly overrated.
Incredibly. They, much like we had a discussion earlier about Jaws and how it has not aged well, for me the Beatles just did not age well whatsoever. I appreciate what they did, but just because you're the forefather or something does not mean that you're the end-all be-all.
Yeah, so they're definitely probably right up there with most overrated. Honestly,
I thought I was going to be edgy with that hot take.
I might get a little. I know I will get a ton of flack. I think Queen's overrated. I'll say it. I think Queen is overrated. I just do. So I'll say that. And then
Well, modern day Queen is technically Freddie Mercury is Queen. So. Anyways.
And third, I would say Pink Floyd. I'd go all classic rock bands. I think all classic rock bands from like the 70s and 80s are a little overrated.
Alright, fair enough. Your turn, sir.
Okay, so I've got a game for you, Phil. Philip.
I love me a good game.
I call this
Tio
Quote
would say,
Me Not.
Love me some meat.
It's called Quote Me Not.
Okay.
I'm going to give you 3 quotes. For each quote, I will give you 3 options, all of which will be of a similar theme. So like this first theme, the 3 options for who said the quote will all be authors.
Okay.
And you will have to tell me who you think said the quote.
Fantastic.
Are you with me?
I'm with you to the end.
So number 1, I didn't attend his funeral, but I sent a nice letter saying I approved of it. Who said this quote? Mark Twain, Ernest Hemingway, or J.D. Salinger?
Wow, that is right out of left field.
Wrote Catcher in the Rye.
Right. But again, classical.
They're all within 100 years of each other.
Yeah. The funny thing is, J.D. Salinger had like a meme He's a petty man. I'm gonna go with Ernest Hemingway.
Final answer, Ernest Hemingway?
Yes.
Incorrect. It was Mark Twain.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Mark Twain.
Alright. 0 for 1.
Number 2, we're dipping into science. Or scientists.
Is Bill Nye on this?
No. 2 things are infinite in the universe. 2 things are infinite. The universe and human stupidity. And I'm not sure about the universe. Was this from Stephen Hawking, Albert Einstein, or Carl Sagan?
Oh, darn it. That sounded like a Neil deGrasse Tyson tweet. I was hoping you would say it because I was going to do a jump on that one. I'm going to go Stephen Hawking. I'm going to go with Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking, final answer? Ooh, 0 for 2. Albert Einstein.
Really?
I'm actually surprised you didn't get that. One's like actually a fairly popular one for him.
Okay. I don't remember him being a meanie, but I guess it was a little.
Now,
Anyways.
this one, a little different. Last quote, a little different. I'm not going to give you names. This quote is from Harry Potter.
Okay.
I will give you 3 books,
Okay.
and you will have to tell me out of which book did they come from.
Alright. I will warn you. I've read all 7.
No. Okay, so have I. Then you should this one I kind of did. This one was a little harder for me, so I went a little easy.
Okay.
Which is good, because you're terrible at this.
Yes.
It does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live. Was this from 1, the Sorcerer's Stone, 2, Chamber of Secrets, or 3, Order of the Phoenix?
That's almost a hopeful one. Order of the Phoenix, pretty much everybody's dead, so it's pretty much past the dreaming of living. It's one of the first 2, which is Chamber of Secrets or what were the first 2 options? I'm sorry.
Sorcerer's Stone.
Chamber of Secrets. Man, I think the first one, he didn't have anybody. I think Chamber of Secrets was like the first one who died. I'm gonna say Chamber of Secrets.
Chamber of Secrets is your final answer? Incorrect! It was the first one, Sorcerer's Stone. Dumbledore tells that to Harry when he's looking at the mirror of erasing.
Oh, yeah.
Because he sees his parents.
His parents, that's right. Alright.
So went 0 for 3.
0 for 3.
Good thing I didn't go 5. I almost went 5 for that one.
Yeah.
It would have been real
It's
painful.
almost Gary level. Luke, we, as football is kicked off, we have started fantasy football. You and I are lucky enough to be in the same league this year. It's my main one of 2 leagues. I don't know if you have any others.
It's the main one of mine. I have 2.
Oh, you're in 2 too. I can't do like that 6 league. I mean, that's just.
I could, but I just don't know that many people.
That's
And again, it wouldn't be fun at that point.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're like rooting for like 6 different people against each other. However, I believe the worst thing about fantasy football is not just losing, but losing when you would have won that week had you started someone else instead. Maybe Mark Gillisley this week. We'll see if I lose, but anyways, since we are in the same league, I want your insight. What are your feelings on how you drafted? That's point 1. I got a couple of them. So how do you feel you drafted?
Okay, good. Thank you. I think that I drafted pretty well. It was a little bit dicey there with running back. I had to pick up Drew Brees, and I'm hoping to flip him for a more secure running back than what I have. Other than that, though, it was a little dicey. That first pick I got auto-drafted Julio Jones, so could have been a lot worse. I'm not 100% sure if I would have picked him, though, depending upon who all was on the board. But overall, I think I did pretty solid.
How do you feel your team is compared to the others, your peers?
I'd say I'm definitely top 3 or 4 in the league. I think a lot of people, you could see the inexperience, man. You could see they tried, they meant well. Someone went Carson Palmer first round, that person's automatically done. There's no way that person can come back from that terrible pick. Some people, I have a friend who always picks Rob Gronkowski first. He did terrible decision making. But really, there's only 1, maybe 2 other teams that I'm legitimately worried about.
My next question, which teams are you especially afraid of?
I'm especially afraid of Timothy. He drafted well. He got David Johnson, so I think that's going to be a real good pick for him. He has Carr for quarterback. I think that's going to get him a lot of points. Whoever drafted Le'Veon Bell, I don't remember off the top of my head, but any team with Le'Veon Bell has a shot at winning every week. I'm not scared of Phillip. He did real awful, real bad. But I do believe that we will be doing a bet when it is our turn to go head-to-head. But yeah,
I can confirm that. Sources
Yeah.
have reported that.
So you guys might see a little live from such and such place, depending on how that bet goes.
Because we'll be doing a dinner bet.
Yes.
Good to know. My last question: how far do you think your team will go this year? And if you do not achieve that, will it be a disappointment?
I think I can win. I really think that I have the team and the grit to grind it out and to win the whole thing. And I would be disappointed if I didn't at least get to the championship.
Thank you. That's all I have for now. Back to you, Luke.
Okay. Well, as we have already discussed, football is king in North America. Well, in America, United States of America. But obviously, there's more than just that. There's a bunch of different sports. But some sports, you just watch and you think, why is this even a thing? Thank you. So my question to you, if you could choose any sport to just erase, to do away with,
Oh, this is good.
any sport, forever, what sport would you get rid of?
Oh, wow. Well, does it take away the past?
Yes. You erase. It is gone from history.
That's hard then. I was gonna say boxing, but I like the history of boxing. I just don't want it anymore.
That's fair. That's fair.
So I'll keep it for historical purposes. Oh, man. You know which one offends me the most is it's so stupid I don't even remember the name. I want to say it's lacrosse. No, it's not lacrosse. I'm
Silly.
sorry. What's the one with like the stick? Like it's like European baseball.
Cricket?
Cricket. Don't look cricket. Get it out.
Wow.
Get cricket out.
You're upsetting like the entire world right now.
Well,
And by the entire world, I mean like England and India.
yeah, we don't need that in this world. We don't need that negativity in our lives. So just take it out, put the real sports in, and the world will be just fine.
Good pick.
Thank you. Luke, more on the serious side, so let's get a little bit more serious. The United States has never before been hit by two 4+ category hurricanes in the same season. With Houston still recovering from Harvey and Hurricane Irma looming towards Florida, how badly will this affect the two cities being beleaguered by the storms? And in a broader sense, will America be able to sustain these storms economically? So, first one, how badly will this affect the cities?
Obviously, terribly. You know, Houston. We saw it in New Orleans and Katrina. It's a little bit different because New Orleans is below sea level. But Houston is still, we've all seen the videos of people kayaking in their houses. So, I mean, it will take months, maybe even years before that city is back to 100%. Same thing. I think Florida's a little bit more prepared for it because they typically get hurricanes on a regular basis. Maybe not to this exact scale, obviously. But yeah, they at least get hit with hurricanes. They know at least somewhat what to do.
Crazy though. I mean, just on this Houston, Texas getting hit by hurricane. I mean, if I'm living in Texas, I'm thinking I'm fine. That why even buy hurricane insurance? But I'm sure that was the general rule, and that's where a lot of people are coming into trouble now.
But overall, I think America is bad at a lot of things. If we're just being honest, there's a lot of things we need to get better at. But moving forward, coming together after tragedies, things like that, that's something that America is always good at. And that's something that we will continue to be good at. That is something that I am not worried about. The most important thing is making sure you get out and that you survive.
I remember for Houston, the sheriff or whatever said, just write your serial number on...
The mayor.
Yeah, the mayor.
Write your name and social security
Yeah,
number.
your name and social security number on yourself in Sharpie if you decide to stay.
Yeah.
Like just holding no punches.
I I commend him for doing that. Because that is to me number one. Get somewhere safe. Get somewhere where you will survive. Because I can promise you that if you can survive and you come back, there will be help from somebody. Someone somewhere will help.
My worry is not that there won't be aid or even enthusiasm toward. Well, I feel like that's inappropriately, but it wasn't intended to be so. There won't be a vigor towards helping people in Florida. It's that a lot of the resources dedicated towards a hurricane have been used in Houston, not misappropriately. I mean, just that they have. The fact of the matter is that we have used it. I'm hoping that since it happened in such quick succession, that we'll gather together again. I never have any doubt about that original one, that original disaster, that original event that happens that causes everybody, that would ask everybody to come together as just Americans.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that when it's like one right after another, a terrorist act after a hurricane after, when those punches keep hitting, it's wondering where the funding and everything will come and where the pulling together will happen. But I have faith.
And economically, I don't think it will affect us long term.
Because I know that whatever it was that would they fund, if there was questions as to whether or not there's enough in there. But
I'm actually glad that you asked that question when you did, because that kind of perfectly segues into my next one. And like you saw with Hurricane Harvey, millions of dollars were either donated from them specifically or to organizations that they helped promote, but athletes came in clutch. J.J. Watt has been one of the more notable ones for Houston.
One of my favorite quotes ever of Scott Van Pelt was that he said, in J.J. Watt's, whenever he dies, whenever it may be in the future, hopefully decades from this, the first sentence in his memoir will be about this, not about football. It will be that he raised funds to help in hurricane relief. It's a great achievement by J.J. Watt.
Absolutely. And I think, and that kind of goes into my question, is do you think that pro teams and players, originally this was going to be just about teams, but I'm kind of changing it now, but do you think pro teams and pro players need to be put on a higher standard than they have been? Charles Barkley famously said back in the 90s, I'm a ball player. It's not my responsibility to be a role model. And even he has since backed away from that statement. But do you think that times like these are when we need players and organizations to step up most and prove to be role models, especially with how much and how often the young minds of America look up to them? Or is this the case of they're private citizens who happen to be well known?
Honestly, to me, I just think that J.J. Watt has a platform that he's using it. I don't know necessarily that we should behold anybody to do so. It's the fact that we don't hold anybody to do it makes it special when J.J. Watt does something like this. When it's not asked for or seen necessary or required, that's when it becomes special. When we are saying that, hey, every player should do this, some people, for whatever reason, if I was just traded to the Miami Marlins, right, and they're going to be hit right now, and I was just traded and I'm a fringe player, I don't know, I might have the need to, but if I grew up in Jersey or just somewhere that's just the complete ultimate flip switch of Florida, I just have no emotional ties, it would be almost ingenuine of me to do so. I'm not going to belittle somebody because that's not their cause. I know for me, myself, I have causes and things that are nearer and dear to me than say maybe you do. That doesn't mean that I find if you have a place in your heart for special needs kids, and that's not necessarily at the top of my list, that doesn't mean that I'm saying you're dumb or even the cause that you're for is dumb. It just means that I, in my life, am more affected by homelessness, so I find that to be more important, more of a potent issue. So just because somebody doesn't step up for every issue does not mean that we should hold them to a higher standard than even we ourselves would. I mean, if everybody had donated $1 to the Hurricane Relief Fund, there would be no need for any of this.
$365 million right there.
Right there. So there's that by definition means that not everybody has. Nor should we ask everybody to. It's whatever you believe is best suited. And there's problems everywhere. There's bigger problems. There's smaller problems. There's problems outside of us that we may feel a calling to. Holding an athlete to that standard, I don't think is fair and even necessary, because I think that there are good people in this world. There are good Americans, and there are good just more basic. There are good people, and anybody will step up to the plate and help when nobody else will, if nobody else can. Good. That was a very deep ending to that was a fun Give Me Five, and then it ended rather serious, but I still enjoyed it.
Well, we're not done with Give Me Five. We each both have one question left, bud.
We do.
At least we should. I have one question.
I do. I skipped one.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. There we go. Luke, there have been rumblings in the NBA of coming together and officially taking lottery reform, where tanking will be seriously demotivated for teams that have otherwise been awful on purpose. Luke, what plan of lottery reform are you the biggest proponent of? And will the NBA ever actually change its draft format?
I'm a big fan of no lottery whatsoever.
So on the NFL scale or Major League Baseball?
Like literally on the scale of like every single sports team ever except for basketball.
But
I don't think hockey does a lottery either, does it? Ooh, hockey might do a lottery. Well, hockey's dumb too then.
Really, that's interesting, because to me, as it stands right now, if you were to just straight up do it, it would motivate tanking more.
It absolutely would.
Oh, but you're still saying the fact that they're outside the box is...
Here's my thing.
Okay.
Do you know why certain teams are bad for as long as they are in basketball?
Because they don't have a star.
Yes, 100%. Cleveland was terrible until LeBron got there, and then LeBron left and they were trash again. And then LeBron came back, and now they won the first title in franchise history and the first championship for Cleveland in decades. When you implement a lottery system, first of all, the very first thing you do is you give every single person on earth something to point at and say, you are rigged. Every single person who was watching that lottery when LA got that pick looked at each other and said, this is rigged. And I 100% believe that lottery was rigged. They saw that the Lakers won it, that Lakers wanted somebody, and they thought that Lakers could go back to being that magical franchise. And so they're like, we'll give the Lakers that guy. But they obviously couldn't give him one, because then too many people would scream. But that's my issue. First of all, you're immediately giving people something to point to and say you're rigging this. And then also, if you just let them tank. Let them tank. Because in basketball is that unique sport where just one superstar player can completely change your franchise.
Well, one player, since there's only 5 ever on the court at any given time, one superstar player has a much more disproportionate effect on the game than in any other sport outside of just tennis, like that they're swimming. Or
any team sport.
Any team sport. It is. I'm trying to even think. Maybe.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Racing. Sprinting.
I guess, but I think you don't draft, that's a different animal. But yeah, that is why you let them tank. Because the more they tank and the more they can draft number one, the more you can, the better chance they have of getting better faster, and then they don't need to tank. Also, if you want to get rid of tanking, don't have your season be 80-something games long. Because that's another reason why people tank. In football, there's no benefit to start deliberately tanking until about week 10. Because until that point, everyone still has a shot. There's only 16 games.
There's an argument to be made that the trade deadline is too early in the NFL, because most people don't know if they are buyers or sellers. They're kind of in that middle purgatory hell.
And I think when you have, baseball can get away with it because they have a legitimate farm system where your prospects aren't even making it to the major leagues for, on average, I'd say like 4 to 6 years. So, and basketball doesn't have that. In hockey, their benefit is everybody on the hockey team has a lot of pride and they don't want to tank. Whereas for basketball, and then hockey's also low scoring enough to where fluke plays can play more of a factor. But basketball doesn't have that. Basketball, you're playing 80 games.
Very self-aware, and everybody realizes as soon as you go on a 7-game losing streak, you're out of the playoffs.
Yeah, when you're a month and a half into the season and you already know that you're not fucking winning, you can immediately start tanking.
Yeah.
And so basketball just needs to either shorten the season or just let them tank, because it doesn't. Did you actually see what their reform idea is?
No, I didn't.
It's literally, now they can possibly drop down to the 5th pick instead of the 4th. And that's it. That was the extent of the reform that I read from that article. Was basically, there's a possibility of you losing one more spot. So it's not even like it would really change anything. You're still gonna tank because you're still looking for your best chance.
Yeah, I'm kind of a fan of. I'm almost a fan of the wheel. I'm trying to think of how that would work, and I've seen the advantages and disadvantages of it. I think that probably my favorite outside of the losers bracket. I really enjoy the losers bracket.
Did you say the wheel?
Yeah, you know the wheel.
Maybe.
It's where they put all 32 teams on a wheel. They spin
30.
I'm sorry, 30. They spin, and then for the next 30 years, it's mapped out who gets the number 1 pick.
That's
and
awful.
everybody's good. Yeah, it's good and bad.
That's too long between picks, between number 1 overall picks for me. At that point, you're saying everybody in league history now would have only had would still be on like their 2nd string of.
That's the big disadvantage. I would actually, now that I'm thinking aloud, I'm more of a proponent of the losers bracket, where as soon as you are eliminated from contention in the playoffs, you are immediately put in a race for the playoffs. So the better you do, the moment you are eliminated, the better your winning percentage, the higher a seed you are given in that losers bracket, and then for one that sells more playoffs, or more playoff things, you can prolong the playoffs by adding a new now playoffs. You can offer the players maybe $1 million for the winning team or whatever you need to motivate them to actually play. And then the winner is guaranteed either you can do whichever pick you want, at least the 2nd pick or the 1st pick if you really want it to be competitive. And that way it incurs that they won't tank at the end. They'll be trying to up their
I've heard something similar to that, but it's not like you don't play another tournament. It's just after that you start accumulating points, and whoever has the most points after that gets the 1st pick, or something like that. Which that one I could see working. It's just
that one could work actually. I kind of like that more because as soon as you're eliminated, you're pretty bad anyway.
So at that
they
point,
might lead more to early season tanking.
Yeah, but I mean
to be good enough to win. I don't know. I kind of like that one though.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was a little convoluted. I'd rather, again, like I said, just get rid of the lottery.
Be normal.
Get rid of the lottery and just tank.
All right, your last turn here, look for real.
Okay, so we're finishing off on the game, and I like to call it History Fun Fact Profiles.
Okay.
So
very catchy, very easy, flows off the tongue. Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you a famous person in history. Obviously, there's different levels of famousness here, and I will then tell you 3 facts about this person. One of them is fake. So it's like uber facts, but with historical people.
Yes.
So number 1, there's 5. Here's the first one.
Okay.
Number 1's Napoleon. 1. The first fact. Born on the island of Corsica.
Okay.
2nd fact. Died in Paris. 3rd fact. Was the leader of France twice. Which one is fake? Which one isn't a fact?
Second one is fake.
You think that he did not die in Paris?
That's correct. That's correct that is the false one.
So so is that your final answer?
That is my final answer.
Off to a good start, 1 for 1.
That's an exiled island.
Yes, Elba. I don't know, Saint Helens or something. Saint something. Number 2, Edgar Allan Poe. Fact number 1, was addicted to drugs. Fact number 2, attended West Point. Fact number 3, inspired the character of Sherlock Holmes.
I'm gonna say inspired the character of Sherlock Holmes. Final answer.
Wrong.
Oh.
And as someone who loves Edgar Allan Poe, I am happy to share this with you. He did inspire Sherlock Holmes. He had a character named C. Auguste Dupin, who was the original Sherlock Holmes. And Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the man who wrote Sherlock Holmes, even has said, where would the modern detective story be without Edgar Allan Poe? The fake answer was addicted to drugs. Edgar Allan Poe, while yes, he probably had an alcohol problem, was never actually addicted to opium. That was a lie by Rufus Griswold, who basically didn't like Poe because Poe was a literary critic when he was alive, and wrote some bad stuff about Griswold. And Griswold torched him in an obituary and then published a fake biography in an attempt to smear Poe's reputation, which obviously worked because people still now believe in the false assumption that he was addicted to drugs when he was not. But he did attend West Point for a little bit.
Okay.
Number 3, Julius Caesar. Fact number 1, his last words were "et tu, Brute." Fact number 2, at one point was kidnapped by pirates, who, when they demanded ransom, Caesar was upset that they didn't demand more, and said that when he was freed, he would come back and crucify him, which he did. Fact number 3, had a kid with Cleopatra.
Oh, wow.
Which one?
Wild left turn there.
Which one is the fake fact?
What was that first one?
Last words were "et tu, Brute."
I know that's the end of Julius Caesar for this play, but I don't think that it was actually said by him. I'm gonna go with "et tu, Brute."
Final answer? Good catch. It was the last words from the play. It's not what he actually said. Many think that, and I don't remember the Latin words for it, but many think that his last words were "and you, my son," which is not what "et tu, Brute" means.
No.
But yes, he did tell pirates that he was going to crucify him, and then crucify
I
him.
kind of remember that one. That was a good one.
Okay, so 4th historical figure, William Shakespeare.
Ah, Shakespeare.
Okay, fact number 1. There are 7 years of his life where we have no historical record of what or where he was.
Okay.
Fact number 2. Considered by many to be the Bard of Avon. Fact number 3. Published over 50 plays. What is not a fact?
See, I think that that's a misleading one because I know he's considered the bard. I just don't know what the bard of. It could be Avar or Avon or whatever you say.
Avon is what I said.
Avon. You just saw an Avon.
And not like the beauty company.
Yes, I know. I believe you just saw an Avon box from home or something.
Yeah, I keep a lot of them around my house.
It's one of the last two. I'm trying to think before I act. I'll just go with the bard. Bard final answer.
That would be incorrect. There are 7 years of his life that we have no record of.
Oh, yeah. That's impressive.
He was the Bard of Avon. That was his title. People shorten it to the Bard.
Yeah.
He actually only published, well, I shouldn't say only, but he had 37 published plays.
I knew there was a number of things there, and I was trying to think, well, you said over 50, because I was thinking there was over like 100 when you say published, that's actually what got me. So, good one.
Last one.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, last one.
Okay.
Theodore Roosevelt, President of the United States.
Of course.
That's just something I'm telling you. That's not what I'm
Okay,
facts.
yes, I'm going to go with that being a fact.
Fact number 1, won the Nobel Peace Prize. Fact number 2. Died from injuries suffered in an Amazon expedition. Fact number 3. Was a star athlete when he was a child.
One was fine because he contracted polio, so...
What?
Or, I'm sorry, 3 was fine because he contracted polio.
Okay, first of all, that would have affected number 2. Second of all, FDR had polio, not Theodore Roosevelt.
Oh. Oh, wow.
The history minor in me was physically ill.
Was physically ill of that. Well, at least there's the Roosevelt. I'm just getting a picture of him. I'm not going to actually look at these facts. I just need a picture.
Wow, I can't believe you're cheating right now.
Well, it's necessary.
Philip is Googling this. So we can...
Googling? Oh, he's the fat one. Okay. So he died of injuries sustained in Amazon.
In an Amazon expedition.
What was the first one?
Won the Nobel Peace Prize.
I don't think he was very peaceful. I want to know what on earth he would have... I'm going to say number 1.
Number 1?
Fake one.
You are wrong, bud. The fake one was a star athlete when he was young. When he was a small child, he was actually had asthma and had a lot of sicknesses. So it was the complete opposite.
I played football.
In college. I said as a child. Eventually, with encouragement from his father, he would start to work out and go outside more, which led to him eventually doing things like going on Amazon expeditions, where he contracted a very bad infection and malaria. He almost died in the Amazon. Luckily enough, they got him out. However, he would continue to have problems with it throughout the rest of his life, and it would eventually kill him. He won the Nobel Peace Prize. He was very big. I don't remember the exact thing he won it for, but he was actually very big in conservation. He was the president to open up the first national park, and he also was very big into food safety.
Oh, yes, he came up with the...
FDA.
Yeah,
He created it after reading The Jungle by Upton Sinclair.
And what was the crew that was come together underneath him?
The Rough Riders in the Spanish-American War.
No, for the FDA. What was the poison control? Alright, that was really cool. That was really good. And I think I got 3 of those. I know I got Napoleon and I got...
I think he only got Napoleon.
No,
Napoleon.
Julius Caesar.
Yeah, those are the only 2 you got. Or 2 of 5.
That's not bad. And I knew some of those facts to be true, so...
It's Gary level.
It's Gary level, but I guarantee you do that with Gary, he only gets at most 1.
Probably. And that one would probably be a guess.
Yeah, even then, the one he would know is Etude Brutus. Well, I know, because he might just say like, oh yeah, I know that, and not know why he knows that, which is Julius Caesar. All right. Anyways, thank you for coming on. If you want any more Doritos, we can go get some later.
I am still hungry. That was like the only thing I had to eat like all day.
Yeah, as soon as she asked, you pounced. Speaking of Gary's mother offering you some chicken for dinner, she was very generous of her, very nice.
I love Gary's mom.
Gary's mom is a sweet.
Shout out to Shelly.
Shout out Shelly for shelling out the chicken.
Let's move on.
Okay. For all of our past archived episodes, please listen to YouTube, and I think we're making a transition to just primarily going to YouTube, so stay on there and listen to all of our new episodes, and for...
Luke Wright.
I am Philip Amorine, and for all of Chop Greens here, thank you so much for listening. Until next week, bye.